Testing, testing. Jim the bus driver, Reverend James Stordahl. Look me up. Google my name. You'll find an assortment of stuff that I've been busy doing in my mid to late 70s. I'm looking at 79. Well, I'm at 79 years old now. Looking at 80. Getting some commercials, getting some travel, working as a wedding officiant, doing public speaking, writing books. I'm on my 9th book now, and it is called Orbits. And you can get on Amazon and check it out. Any books by James Stordahl. I'm a mental health advocate, so you're going to find some rambling, some random thoughts, life as a bipolar. I mean, we're talking about living a rather erratic life with lots of jobs. I've had over 68 jobs before retirement, and I've been retired about a dozen years, maybe 15 years now. I've had another 15 jobs that I carry. Keeps me busy, keeps me active. And today I'm reading from my notebook. I have been a school bus driver for more than 12 years, and people say, how did you ever do it? And there are times that I'm thinking, I don't know how I did it. I started as a part-time job when I retired from the Postal Service, and I was thinking, well, this would be fun, a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon, maybe take a nap. And then I really got to like it. You know, it paid, when I started, it paid $20 an hour. Now it's paying $30 an hour. And they still can't keep drivers. They're always looking for drivers. You cannot find a bus barn or a bus company that is not short of drivers. People sign up and they say, oh, this looks like fun. What's the big deal about driving kids? Well, they find out. I mean, it's about 35 to 40% that will walk out the door scratching their head and maybe mumbling, and they'll last 2-3 months, maybe 6 months. They won't last the full year. In my 12 years, I probably met and said goodbye to 2 to 3 dozen people. Of course, it's more like a retired job. It's an after 50s job for a lot of people, because who can work those hours and still make a living? So there's about, you can get plenty of hours if you wish, but it's a challenge. In fact, I challenge anybody, because the jobs are there. You can either be a driver or you can be a monitor. But you're going to find out that the kids nowadays have no discipline. They come out of the house undisciplined. They leave the school undisciplined. And that's the story. During my downtime, I've had this large tablet because, like I said, I write books as a mental health advocate. And so I have these random thoughts, blurbs that I've written down. I've either gotten them online or read them in a newspaper. Here I read the Des Moines Register, which has gotten very small in the last few years. I also rely on the Minneapolis Star and Tribune out of the Twin Cities, where we used to live, because they still have a lot of news coming out of there, and they've got reporters. Here in Des Moines, it's half the page is news coverage and half the page is advertisement. It's really thinned down. Now, during the pandemic, as we are all still, 6 years later, we are all struggling with the results of the pandemic. This came out of U.S. Business Report. Just a few weeks into the adoption of widespread U.S. business closures that started in 2020, and the social distancing measures, a quarter of Americans have either lost a job or taken a pay cut, and nearly 1 in 10 believes they will be laid off or a pay cut is on the way. How's that for your mental health? That started in 2020, and it hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse. A recent All-American survey, which polled 800 Americans, recently found that 10% of Americans are newly unemployed. 10% of your workforce, newly unemployed. That hasn't changed. Our unemployment is ugly here in the wealthiest nation in the world. The Pew, P-E-W, the Pew Research Center, estimated 1 in 3 Americans took a pay cut or were laid off. Nothing does more damage to your psyche than being laid off or the fear of being laid off. It remains to be seen how and when economies can safely open again for business. And that is true. This was written a few years back. The pandemic, 2020, 2021. How and when are economies safely going to open again for business? They aren't, and they haven't. Until this becomes clearer, the economic toll will continue to mount. It is hard to see any return to normal economic functioning until the summer at the earliest, and it never did. Summer of 2021? No, nothing. Forget about returning to jobs as usual. There's a crisis likely to reshape the economy permanently. That crisis developed in 2020 and 2021, and it has reshaped our economy permanently. Now, in good times, when business is profitable, and getting more so, many bosses avoid making hard choices. Inefficiencies are ignored. Boy, that sounds like the Postal Service. Inefficiencies are ignored. New labor-saving technology is not installed, and underperforming employees are tolerated. Again, sounds like the Postal Service. But when the bad times inevitably come, suddenly executives have no choice but to run the tightest ship possible, and labor costs are usually the easiest variable to control. How many jobs does it take to make a living nowadays? Like I said, I've had a dozen since I retired. I wouldn't be able to live on my retirement. Even when I added Social Security, not enough. Sharp recessions, often caused by a single event, such as the pandemic, are usually followed by equally sharp recoveries. The curve is actually shaped like a V. That is what should have happened after the pandemic. Many companies are likely to decide to try and move forward with less, which they did. Restaurants, a fair number, did not reopen. The pandemic pushed many restaurants over the edge. Takeout. There's more people coming to the counter and taking out food than there are sitting in the restaurants. Customers grow to like eating restaurant food at home. So they will continue to do so after the pandemic is over, which they did. That will mean fewer jobs for waiters, waitresses, busboys, dishwashers. Hospitality has suffered. Zoom, the new way to deal with classes or business meetings, has increased working from home. Teleconferencing may well turn out to be simply a better way to do things. That has proven wrong because people get distant, they stop talking to each other, they stop socializing, and the fiber of the workforce starts to fray. Problems facing our economy could be far deeper and more widespread than they initially appear. So people started doing podcasts. Here's Jim's podcast. I've got two of them, Bus Biz, B-U-S-B-I-Z, and Bipolar Dad, B-I-P-O-L-A-R-D-A-D, Bipolar Dad. More than half of U.S. jobs are still at risk. Nearly 80 million jobs are at high or moderate risk as of today. 80 million. That's more than half of the 153 million jobs we have in our economy. That doesn't bode well for the future. That doesn't mean that all those jobs will be lost, but the probability those workers could see some impact, layoffs, furloughs, fewer hours, and wage cuts. Of those 80 million jobs, Moody's Analytics projects that 27 million are at high risk due to the virus. Transportation, travel, leisure, hospitality, temp help services. We've got some challenges and people are not stepping up. Black Swan event. An event that's totally unpredictable, has a long-lasting and long-term effect. Pandemic was a black swan event. Movies like Contagion and Outbreak have informed us how this pandemic might look. Until we get to the bottom of it, we can't really assess the damage. I try to keep my podcast to 15 minutes because I've been told that our attention span has dwindled. And when I go out on speaking engagements and we talk about mental health and bipolar disorder and living with depression, I'm told that every 7 to 10 minutes I should do things like sing a song, ring a cowbell, jolt people's attention. We're at 15:15 now, and I'm going to say goodbye. We'll be seeing you again soon. And this is Jim Stordahl, Stordahl. And I live in retirement. I'm in my basement in the middle of Iowa, the most flown over state in the Union. On the exciting side, I'm doing an audition this afternoon for a major commercial. I've been in a couple of commercials the past year. United Healthcare up in Minneapolis and T-Mobile down in Kansas City. And now I'm going to be working on a commercial that's shooting in No, it's not a commercial. It's a part in a TV show that I can't tell you what it's going to be until I get picked. But of course, I'm going to play an old man, and that'll be kind of fun. I'll have to brush my goatee and mustache. And if you want to really see what I look like, go ahead and punch my name into Google, and you'll see a bunch of photos, because I do have vanity photos taken at least once a year to keep up to speed, because nothing is more fun than being on camera. Okay, people, now you take care. And don't forget, if you have a homeless shelter in your town, go volunteer. Go play some board games. Go help serve the food. There are hundreds. I mean, even here in Des Moines, Iowa, we've got 750 homeless people just in Polk County, which is the major where the governor lives. Polk County, Des Moines, 750 homeless. State of Iowa, the breadbasket of the nation, over 2,200 homeless. Nationwide, 740,000 homeless. I'd say we can put them all in the vacant shopping malls that are closing up left and right. There's plenty of room there. Okay, folks, we'll be talking to you. Bye-bye.